Okay, this is our first ever The Broadcast webinar series. I would say more of a product series. And people are like having a lot of ideas and then having a too much of cognitive load with the ideas, especially during this quarantine, especially when you're like stuck inside the house. I think this series will really help people to progress or at least know what to do with this idea. With that said, we have our first speaker, Ria Sahaye, and she has like 11 years of product management experience. She's been with Google, she's been with Samsung, and also she's been with a lot of startups evolved into a big enterprises today. So very happy to invite Ria Sahai. Over to you. Talk about the competition and enlighten us with the competition and how to measure the market. Thank you, Ria.
Yeah, thanks, Padmini. So I have a small presentation. I'm just going to start how. So this is my first time to project anything. Should I just click on share, I guess, right? And then,
Yes, go ahead. Everybody's in the first time phase. Go ahead and
yeah,
explore.
okay. So, and I'll walk through this. This is a very basic structure, but it's just to give everyone an idea. Hope you guys can see the screen.
Yes, we are able to see the screen.
Okay, so the topic that I thought best, in fact, Yogyata basically guided me into this. And in these, the thing is that I have almost 10, this is my 11th year of experience. And when you work for so long, you kind of, like Padmini just said, you have a cognitive overload also from these years. And because you've worked in different companies, there have been different competitive landscapes you've been working on. So it's very difficult to within 20-25 minutes of the time that I have, it was very difficult to decide. But I've chosen a real life example from my almost 3 year stint at Samsung, which was the last experience that I had. So I'm going to go about in this order. The first is a little bit about me. The second is the scoping of your competition, some real life example, a Samsung project that I've done, and Q&A. So I don't have a slide about myself because I think it is easily accessible. All of you can go to the LinkedIn account and check my profile. But uh, because you people are giving us your time, it's very important for you to know where am I coming from. So like Padmini has already said, I have almost 10 years of experience. I started with Google. I worked there for 4 years. Uh, uh, I left Google because I wanted to do an MBA. I wanted to learn business in its theory. And since then, the more I read about products and processes and solutions in my MBA school, so I went, my home school was in Hong Kong, and my last semester was spent in Singapore. And the Asian B schools pretty much tell you the same thing as any other school abroad. And that is where we did a lot of competitive case studies also. And then I started working for certain startups. I went to Samsung. Today I work for a US based company called Pitney Bowes. So the first thing that I, before starting with competitive landscape, I'm sure all of you already know about different kinds of scopes. So as a product manager, we work on different kinds of scope. We work on the product scope, the business scope, project scope, and finally the competitive scope. The product scope is something which is very dear to my heart because that is where a lot of R&D and research goes. It is the most extensive phase of a product manager's life. So the product scope is about product details. All of us know that it's about the features and functions which will actually go into a product. Now, the product scope is usually defined by business stakeholders or product management, product managers. It is an extensive process I've already mentioned. Because why is it extensive? Because as a product person, we are supposed to, you all must have been doing this in your individual organizations or even as a freelancer. You have to talk to multiple stakeholders. Everybody has a different expectation and requirement from the product. And before reaching at what the final requirements will be, you have to understand what are the expectations, what are the requirements. You have to talk to different people. It requires a lot of time. It requires a lot of scheduling of meetings. And there is a lot. So as product people were also taught the verbal and non-verbal skills. And I'm sure you guys are aware that people in our meetings, one-on-one stakeholders say something else, and sometimes their underlying non-spoken requirements are something else, which we call latent needs. Latent because they're not explicitly told to us. So once all the key stakeholders are consulted, the scope is taken into a document. It's documented. We have different terminologies in the industry for it. It's a requirement doc or a BRD, FRD. You call it by any name. It's probably the same thing. And the most important thing about a product scope is that it tells us the what. So the topic that I have been assigned is competition, and how will you understand competition if you don't understand your own product scope? So it's very important to understand your product scope, the overall business objectives. How is your product objective mapping to the overall business objective? Once you understand the larger picture, only then can you venture out in the industry and start looking at the competitors. So I spoke about a statement that we generally create within our organization, and it has clear objectives, it has scope defined, and we also have the competitive advantage. Like, what do you aim to achieve? How do you aim to be better or different than your competitors? Finally, come at my topic. So scoping your competition. So basically, a competitive analysis is a way to collect and compare data about products, and often this method is very extensive. We use a lot of techniques of primary research, secondary research, and it's often used to highlight the strengths and weaknesses of the products in order to make more informed decisions. Now, the decisions should be related to your product strategy, and a typical competitive analysis might include information such as an overview of the entire product landscape. So when I was in Samsung, for example, I was in the I hope you guys have heard about Samsung's native app, which is called the My Galaxy app. It is preloaded on all Samsung phones, and it is there on the tablet. So when we were working on the My Galaxy app, we had to look at all other competitors. So for us, competitors were the product landscape was immense. It was all the because see, the My Galaxy app was an overall app. It was, if you guys, Tabzo no more is there as an independent entity. It's been bought, but we were something like Tabzo. We were an all-in-one app, and so for us, competition was Tabzo. Competition was a lot of other apps which are hardware producers have manufacturers have made. Like, there are Xiaomi apps, and then there are Vivo apps and Oppo apps. So that was the entire product landscape for us. Apart from that, we look at who are these users that they are targeting. What is the list of product features which are there in those apps? The social media presence, we used to actively look at a lot of social media accounts of Xiaomi and Oppo, Vivo. Evaluation of visual design, the content, the language, the flow, the user flows. All of these various activities come under scoping your competition, trying to understand who is the competition and what are they doing differently than us. This Just let me know, guys, if you have any questions, because I'm sure it is a very standard process. But if you want to ask me questions, you can. So this knowledge, the above knowledge, takes us, typically for us at Samsung in the product team, it would take us almost a week to try and figure out, because this would culminate into a very extensive document. So this knowledge should, but the extensive document should also be comprehensive. It should cover all important aspects. And the aim, so the ultimate goal of this document should be to devise a product, service, or solution which creates competitive advantage, which gives you an edge over your competitors. Now, while we were doing some sort of competitive analysis, and I'll also walk you through a real life example, there are certain things that we've realized that we must keep in mind while doing our research on competition. The first is that competitive analysis tells us the what and not the why. Now, a competitive analysis tells you what exists, what are the features, what are the functionalities, what different kind of apps are there, solutions are there, products are there. But and you can keep writing it, documenting it, and what is you can have a similarity chart, you can have a dissimilarity, what is dissimilar, but it will never tell you that among these features and functionalities, which are the features which are the features which are being used actively by the consumers, which are these features which are valued by the consumers, which will directly address the core need of the consumers. So it tells us what all exists in the market, but not why. uh, the second is be thorough. Now, for us, the direct competitors were apps like Tabzo and Just Dial, but indirect competitors were Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo apps. So always look at direct, indirect substitutes. We have enough charts going on for the competitive analysis. Um, the third is that don't let it go stale. Now, what happens is in a lot of companies, guys, and especially I've seen it. It's the sad part of a product manager, because we have so much responsibility on us that we let our documents go stale. Never ever can we consider that the competition is over or the competitors have launched something and it's going to be stable forever. So this should be a very living document. You should keep assessing your competitive landscape, your product landscape, and you should keep updating it and letting your stakeholders know. And the last thing is, the fourth point is the answer to the first one, that it tells us what and not why. So when you do your primary research, when you talk to consumers, you supplement your analysis with primary research. And why, in the sense, is it really valued by the consumers, can only be understood by talking to the consumers. And that is exactly what we did. Our My personal experience at Samsung was that we would go to the we would do different methodologies of user research. And so in Samsung, we also have the benefit because we have a lot of Samsung smart cafes. So we do market audits a lot. The product team does a lot of market audits, does a lot of phone calls, and we also uh, do some sort of an internal analysis, FGD, focus group discussions with internal Samsung members also, who are not part of the product team. Now, I finally come with an example of competitive analysis, which we did. So I guess some part of it is being cut. But so the competitive analysis, this is a project which I was working 2 years ago. Now, if you can see on the left side, I was told to do a comparison of the different platforms which Samsung owns. So I was part of the My Galaxy team. So this was my app, and then I was told to compare it with another platform, which is Samsung browser. So today when you use a Samsung phone, the sad part is most of us come here and do a Google search and use it as our default browser, but Samsung also has its internal phone browser. So the traction on the phone browser was really less. So I was asked to enrich the content. So my competitive analysis was to find out categories where which can be launched on these platforms and which can engage more people or increase traction of the Samsung browser. Now, the parameters for deciding categories. Now, before you do a competitive analysis, we also we generally try to find out what are the overarching principles. Now, I want to understand what categories of content should go in the app versus the browser, but what are some of the criteria? So it should be spontaneity, it should be personalization, easy to personalize. There should be assistance. Assistance for Samsung meant that back 2-3 years ago, we were trying to copy Siri, and we have our own voice bot which is called Bixby in Samsung. So assistance was how can we utilize the bot platform also, and complexity. It should not be too complex for us to launch, and even if the technology or the content categories are very complex to be implemented by the development team, we should be able to break it down in chunks of phases or tasks. So this is one example. I used different research methodologies, and I could find one example here among my old notes is the App Annie. So because we were the Galaxy app team, we used to heavily depend on App Annie and its research. So what we did was that I had to find out the top categories. So I went to App Annie and took out top 100 Android apps. I'm not interested so much in iPhone because Samsung has not ventured into the iPhone or the Apple OS space. So we were only bothered about the Android apps and what are the categories to target there. Uh, so these categories came after I analyzed 100 apps. I said, let me take out 100 apps, and then I started writing. Okay, so social, these are the top apps in India. Online retail, Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal. Entertainment, what are the top apps? Cabs, classifieds, recharge, games. So this way, I came with top 10, 15 categories, which are very popular among the apps, Play Store app. Uh, Now, the second task was that now that I have these lists of 10, 15 categories, which category should be targeted on the app versus the Samsung browser? Now, so the first question, I mean, there was also a related question where we were told that, do you want to keep the categories very distinct, or or unique, or do you want some sort of an overlap? And this is what you will see. We said that we suggest that categories and partners between both the platforms will overlap, as we need to have popular partners on both the browsers, on both the platforms, the browser and the app. uh, Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. There was a
Yes, we can follow you.
Yeah, Ria, please
Okay,
continue.
okay. There was a there was a notification that I got mute. So yeah, so guys, as you can see, the Samsung browser, we consciously decided that we will have very, very generic categories on the browser, which people want to access on the go. And categories, very value added categories, will only be there in the app. So and the ones which are in brown, so the ones which are in black were the categories which we already had partners for this. So for the rule of thumb for Samsung product team at that point in time was that, try to first work with partners and merchants who we already have on board. So we had 13 merchant partners, and the ones in the brown are completely new categories where we do not have any partnerships. So this was a way to indicate that, oh, we don't have a social partner, we don't have online retail partners, we don't have entertainment partners or tech partners. And then this list would go to the partnerships team, and they will start chasing the partners and try to have some sort of a revenue share with them. Now, after finding these top categories, we also thought that we looked at the competition top 100 apps, and apart from App Annie, we also looked at other sources. By the way, I suddenly got reminded that we also did some sort of an Alexa category ranking. Then we did a category mapping. We said that what are the categories which are more information led and assistance, low assistance, high assistance, more information plus transaction. And then we divided it into different platforms, like what should go only on Samsung browser, what should go on the bot. Now it's very interesting because bot was very new at that time, so we thought, what are the categories where people um, would require assistance? So if you see, this sort of competitive analysis was in a way very directional for our product, because we were discussing what all features and functionalities will be on the within the bot. So we realized grocery and hyperlocal stuff is where people need some assistance. Train and flight status, people want to check it through the bot. Local classifieds, yellow pages, they want to do a lot of searches nearby restaurants and stuff. And roadside assistance, where people, if people are stuck somewhere and they want some sort of an assistance, they will use the bot, the voice command more. And within My Galaxy, we said what makes sense is recharges, movies, coupons. And a combination of a bot within the app was for food, travel, health, fitness, and cabs. So through our competition analysis, we did a category mapping. And after the mapping, we finally came to very clear and crisp strategies for the app versus the browser. Now, for the app, we said it's a consumer led strategy. We will not be looking initially back in, I think, back 3 years ago, we were not focusing much on the revenues that come out of the app. It was more content led and value led, and the browser was more revenue led. So, consumer led platform, we said consumer benefits to be kept in mind while framing the propositions. And we, we decided that since we can't leave it to organic growth, we have to do active marketing and branding for this platform. the app. Now we also try to understand the core value proposition of the app, that why will users use My Galaxy app. They will use it to cater to services of daily regular use and unique experience. If they want to experience all the different services and categories within one app. um, Now what I mean by the all-round experiences, let me quickly show you if I can. So I guess it's not letting me. So guys, today, or a better thing is to go to the micro site. So guys, today My Galaxy app, even I've left Samsung, but it is a robust app. If you can see, it's an all-in-one app. It has entertainment, it has services include, you can book flights, you can take care of your mobile phones, you can do an upgrade of your phone, which means you can sell a phone and buy a new Samsung phone. There's also convenience. You can book coupons and you can take coupons and flights, trains. And then finally, Samsung Care. An entire Samsung concierge is also within this app. So this app kind of has many things together. It's an all-in-one app. So for us, back in those days, we wanted to continue with the all-in-one value proposition, which is why we said that let's only focus on, look at data analytics, look at competition, and focus on what is being used more, only very few categories. And Samsung browser, we realized we have to get on more content and partners, and we have to, there will be no active marketing. People will come to the browser and they will experience it, but we will get revenue from more partnerships. So then again, we realized that why will users use S browser? Users can use S browser for researching something on the go, and it has to be very quick, lightweight, basic interface, basic content, utility sites. And after we did this analysis, this is an old analysis, Google Cards got launched, and today it is very, very successful in getting I'm sure the team is also including it in its own competitive analysis, because Google Cards today is very popular for more than searches. I think even I personally use it to consume more news content and more content related to what's happening in the world. So I think this is a basic real life example of how we did a competitive analysis by looking at App Annie, Alexa. We were also looking at a lot of other browsers like Apple browser and Xiaomi browser. Back in those times was very, very popular. So yeah, I think that is all I had to share with you guys. And if you guys have any question, you can let me know.
Uh, Sorry to, hi. I have few questions. Can you please, actually my internet connection was a bit stable. Can you actually list the tabs that you use for your own personal, that news and stuff? Can you repeat the name of those apps, please?
Also, for news, I think my primary today, back in those days, I used to look at a lot of a couple of apps were very popular. We used to read a lot of news on Twitter, LinkedIn. I personally had installed two specific news apps, which were InShots and Times of India. But today, after 3 years, I mean, I think all of us have evolved. Today, how I consume my news is through my social media feeds, and especially Google Cards, which come on my phone. So I think that is how I consume news content today. Any other questions?
Okay, seems like no questions, but if you still have questions, feel free to reach out to Ria. I'm sure she'll be more than happy to share it. And she's available on LinkedIn. And you can also follow us on the other handles that's on the comments chat section. Hey, thank you so much, Ria, for all your time. I think we are on time, like just 2-3 minutes even before we are done. Thank you everyone for joining. We're going to have this for 15 more days, different process of creating products, and if you have a startup idea, still it helps. So keep coming. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, just 30 minutes. Hope it's helpful. If you have any feedback, also let us know. Thank you so much.
Yeah, one thing I would like to tell. Can you please share the PPT and the recording if you don't mind?
Recording will be available on YouTube on our channel. PPT,
Okay.
guys, okay to share. We will definitely.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can send it to Padmini. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
But there's one thing, guys. The real example is a real example. It's a real project, and Samsung is very particular about the data. So use it only for your own content, because if you see, I'm not even allowed to take presentations. So I've taken a picture of my presentation. I can't even send anything on email, even if I've left the company. So be very careful of these real life examples because there is some legal issue around it.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. We'll not let it out.
I think Ria, I would suggest that you should keep the PPT confidential at the moment, because um, it's a confidential property. I think you shouldn't share it with everybody, I guess.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, but you can always, if you guys want to talk more, because I've done a lot of competitive analysis on different projects within Samsung and even elsewhere. So maybe we can talk again, or you can send me doubts on email, and I can clearly answer anything and everything that you want to ask me.
Yeah. One last question, if you have enough time to talk. I just wanted to understand what kind of competitive analysis, like what was the thought behind, and what was the pointers that you consider while doing a competitive analysis?
Okay, so while we were doing, so the first objective of doing a competitive analysis, pulling me into a project which was more browser led, was, though I was part of the app team, was the objective was that Samsung, um, you know that Samsung is in a market which is extremely fragmented, very competitive. They were earlier the market leaders, but 3-4 years ago Xiaomi came in. There are a lot of other Chinese competitors. So the main objective of this competitive analysis was to try and figure out how to make the phone more useful. The product, obviously our main product is the phone, but how to get people to use the phone for a longer period of time. So what can we do? We can make better apps, we can make better software, we can have more OS updates, but we can also try and have some interesting content out there. Because in fact, I would really encourage you guys to check a product which is by InMobi. It's called Glance. We Samsung also did a partnership with InMobi, and it's very interesting because that is a purely wallpaper led product. You will not imagine that it went out so well. It's purely, we partnered with InMobi, and these are only, every time you unlock your phone, Samsung phone, there's a new wallpaper. It was so popular at that point in time. So the main objective of competitive analysis doing this project was to figure out that how to make the browser more interesting. People spend more time on the browser searching and consuming lightweighted content.
Okay, cool.
Okay, nice. So I forgot to mention that we also have a hashtag competition going on with this webinar series. If you really liked any of the points here, please do make it as a post on LinkedIn with our hashtag the broadcast. If we like it, you will get a free goodie from the broadcast. So thank you so much for joining in the time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Thank you.